Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
From the Keith Winston Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Hour Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, we will be discussing the infamous George Soros. And now your host, JC3.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question, QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
adamandeve.com.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as Big Joe said at the beginning, we were talking about the infamous George Soros. Georgie, we're talking about you, buddy. I know you want to hide in the shadows, but we're talking about you tonight. So...
Sounds like a declaration of war. How did George Soros hurt you, Joey? Because you've been wanting to go on this motherfucker for months now.
Oh, because...
And I'm like, how did he hurt you?
Because he funds a lot of things that
Did he like not show up to a grinder date and you're upset? Like, what happened, Joey?
No, we're not sponsored, by the way. Hey, you know what? I don't care. Grindr, if you want to sponsor, your money's green, too. We have to get Eric on there, though.
No.
Yeah, come on, bro. You would have to be the face. You know how many... Hey, Eric. You know how I'm saying?
Big dudes are in.
Hey, Mr. West.
That's right. Big dudes are in. I would sweep on Grindr.
Mr. West is in the building.
No. Like, if I signed up
Okay,
for Grindr...
first of all, we're not sponsored. Let's get into the episode here.
Just volunteered
Please.
as tribute, so.
Okay. So George Soros, everybody. What does everybody know about George Soros?
How about we go around the room and introduce anyone? Look at me doing your
That's
job.
true. Okay, we have Big Joe here. Say hello.
Hello, Big Joe.
Okay. The Pope himself.
I'm at the pub.
Mr. West is in the building.
Mr. West is in the building.
And Roblox is here again. Welcome back, Roblox, from your little absence.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
And I'm JC3, as you heard at the beginning. Okay.
We are not sponsored by Grindr, but who are we sponsored by, Joey?
We are sponsored by Adam and Eve. I can't tell you exactly what you get on adamandeve.com for right now, but
My man's had a mental breakdown.
You get a lot of gifts
When
with
you
our
use the
code.
offer code question at
Use
checkout.
the code question at checkout for adamandeve.com. All right. I'm sorry. This episode's been on my mind.
Yeah.
I want to get this guy and talk about this guy because there's been a lot of conspiracy theories. Huh?
Definitely sound like someone hurt you.
No, but no, what I'm thinking, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories about this guy for the last 15 years. And even beforehand. But it's only but you don't see him anywhere. Nobody talks about him.
Well, he's not a politician, right?
No,
he's
he's
not in the government.
He's a philanthropist. A philanthropist.
He's the head of a hedge fund. That's how he made his fortune.
Yeah, but I know West, and I know.
This would be like if the guy from BlackRock or Vanguard, someone from Vanguard, decided to.
You mean BlackRock, the people who own the United States? Those
And
people?
Vanguard, don't forget them. There's one other one in there that they split it up equally. But it's like he's one of those type of people. It's like high in the financial world, worth billions and billions of dollars, never has to worry about anything for the rest of his life, which is not that much longer. He's turning 93 in like 2 weeks.
All right, so what I want to do is we'll start with this way, because I know whenever I start with Dad, he kind of everybody piggybacks off his answer sometimes, and because Dad is one of the, especially with a lot of topics, he knows a lot. He's been alive. He's been around.
That's right.
My man's
just
he's been around the block.
He's our own personal history textbook.
You know what it is? He's like farmers insurance. They know a few things. What is the code word for that?
Bum, 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 bum.
No, what?
That's what I was thinking.
That one? That's it.
He knows a thing or two
because he's been. Yeah, there you go.
Greatest introduction I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, blow me, all right?
Okay.
This is just a precursor to your fucking funeral speech.
All right, my fucking head
Jesus
hurts right
Christ.
now. All right.
All right, so what do you want to know about George Soros?
Roadblock. What do you know about George
Oh.
Soros?
I'll be completely honest. I don't know a fucking thing. The only thing I can tell you as of this moment is he looks like a decrepit reptile human hybrid that looks like he got smacked in the face with a Mike Tyson punch or two.
You know, it's funny you say that because there is a conspiracy theory that he is an actual reptile.
I like the.
That's. I'm not saying. First of all,
use of vocabulary right there.
Look.
I'm not saying that's a thing.
Right.
I mean,
Look,
judging
you're
now,
right, there is. You don't know.
Judging now that there's aliens,
Well,
the government has turned around and
we
said
don't
there
wanna
are
talk about-
aliens.
Let's not talk about aliens.
We'll talk about that soon.
that season's coming up, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have a field day with that.
All right.
one.
Okay. So
Oh, they blew the
If
cap
if
on
by
it?
that
Yeah.
time we're not taken to a far-off planet.
and probed.
Oh, what kind of?
West.
We'll get there, West.
West.
We'll tell you
West.
off air.
What do you know about George Soros?
His name caught my attention around 2016. And then I never really looked into him back then. And then around COVID time, his name came up again. I saw that he is funding a lot of people, mostly Democratic people. And I know that he not founded, but he is one of the biggest funders of the BLM movement. That's as far as I know. And
All
he's
right.
a full-on rapist.
Philanthropist.
Jesus Christ.
All I know about George Soros, other than what I do know what Wes said about he's a financier of certain groups in the country. None of them are on the right, mind you. It's not just BLM. I think also there's a few others that he has ties to monetarily speaking. Nothing though on the right whatsoever.
No, yeah.
But I also know that he was in, as far as I understand, he was in Alvin Bragg's ear, the Manhattan District Attorney, to go after Trump about the Stormy Daniels case, the hush money, and did he pay her off, did he not pay her off? Like, George couldn't do it himself because he's not a prosecutor, but he was able to somehow influence Alvin Bragg to take that case and pursue it to wherever the outcome was. I forget what happened with that because I stopped turning in because at that point I'm like, this isn't about politics. I don't give a shit about it. He paid off a porn star to blow him. I don't care. So
if it didn't happen in the White House, we do not care.
Well, he wasn't president at the time.
Yeah.
So
that's
I'm
my
like,
point. All right.
what does it matter to me? Like, it's nothing to do with his policy. Stormy's not in his cabinet. What do I
He
give a
was in
fuck?
Storby's cabinet.
Oh.
No, you saw what I did there, right?
It wasn't him.
Why would her
Anywho.
cabinet be in? Never mind.
Dad, What do you?
Well, there's so much. There's so much to start with. I mean, this guy had a wealth of over like almost $40 billion. He started open source funding, and that was to give money to BLM, Black Lives Matter. He did, but all the stuff that this guy did, giving money, and he still does. And you're right, Anthony. None of it's to the right. It's all to the left wing because that's what he does. The most dangerous reason why this guy needs to be taken out or whatever.
No, that's not a good rephrase.
Put out of his misery.
No, assets frozen, not able to contribute money. Let's say
that's
it like that.
Yep. That's a better phrasing.
Okay, do whatever you want to say. He's a danger to America, and the reason is his very existence screams of crime. Okay, Alvin Bragg, who lets criminals walk. The DA of Los Angeles, Garcon, who lets criminals walk. All right, they go after Trump, but yet we decriminalize every fucking thing that this guy or that the criminals in his own area do. Okay, everybody that he backed up, and I give you
about George Soros. Whoever.
George Soros has backed up. Alvin Bragg being number one. I'm not even gonna go and look at him because just the sight of him, I just want to fucking. I can say this. I want to take a bat to his fucking like a pinata.
Nope,
How's
can't say
that?
that either. That's a threat. Just say he makes you want to puke.
Makes me want to puke right in his face. Okay, these are facts. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that you can't be proven. That can't be proven.
Say threats.
But there's a lot of facts. Okay, and you know when they say that all these people they all stay together and they're all intertwined, they marry each other. Okay,
They inbreed.
well,
It's not inbreeding.
his what is it? His nephew is married to Chelsea Clinton.
That is a fact.
Okay, so they sit together. All right, and
once you're involved with the Clintons, that's right. I'm talking to you, Hillary. Fuck you.
okay, these are
I know that Donald Trump called him out personally by name during the 2016 election. That it was George Soros, another name, and all the sponsors of the Democratic Party were in that audience.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and it was a debate between Hillary.
It was right when he dropped. It was right
and
when
Trump.
It was right when he. It was right. It's that
Or
Dave
Clinton and
Chappelle
Trump.
joke where he says that's where he won the election.
Yeah.
Say where he said yeah I didn't pay my taxes or something like that, but he used the same legal thing that
Her backers
that her
used. Yep.
backers use. And
Yep,
shit.
I remember watching that.
It comes down to if you think of like the Illuminati, global elitists, this is a man that fits that category. Because everyone's like, the Illuminati are the ones who control the world. Think bigger than the presidents. Think bigger than the world leaders. It's this council of people who decide what everything is. And everyone goes, okay, but who are those people? Put a name to the face. Like, put a face to the name. Like, don't just tell me it's like this shadow group. Who is in the shadow group? Give me someone I can blame.
And
George Soros would be one of those guys. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But George Soros, to me, would be one of those guys who I'd be like, oh, he's a shoo-in. Like, he sits in chair number 6 at the table.
Not only that, but he just he's been around the block for a while. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I mean, he's 94 years old.
No, yeah,
He's been around. He's been around and seen a lot of the big changes that's happened in the world. So
some of these companies that are owned, like these fact checkers that you see, they all whatever.
Oh, okay.
They're owned by George Soros.
Okay. One of the things that pisses me off about
Which one? Hold on. If you're gonna make that claim, I wanted you to tell me which ones are.
I got to
on.
dig up which one it is. I know
Because
it's like
those are the ones that I would sit there and be like, listen, if you think that's if we can prove that these fact checker websites are being funded by somebody who is influencing politics, because that's what these things do, then that's something that needs to be crystal clear. That way we don't use those websites for fact checking.
One thing that pisses me off, and I'm on Reuters right now. This is their opening, I guess you would say their opening paragraph about George Soros.
Yes.
It says social media users have been sharing an image online that makes several disparaging and false claims about George Soros. Some of these claims include Soros being a former Nazi, Soros swearing to destroy the USA, Soros owning Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and Soros paying for protesters. Examples can be seen here and here, and they show a couple things.
Hold on a second. Isn't he Jewish?
Yeah.
You can't be a Nazi if you're Jewish.
He's from a non-practicing family.
And you could sit there and be
Hold on a second. It doesn't matter if you're non-practicing or not. If you were a Jew,
you could be a sympathizer, though.
you could be a sympathizer. The Nazis still don't like you.
Hold on. Just listen. They do like you if you sit there and you turn in your own kind.
No. They don't. They don't get. They just say thank you for helping. You're still on the train ride, but you thank you for helping.
Okay.
They
Can I
don't
finish
give a
this-
shit.
this first
That's the whole
paragraph?
purpose of being a Nazi.
George Soros is a billionaire philanthropist and founder of founder of Open Society Foundations. We knew that, right? He has been the target of multiple conspiracy theories and misinformation on social media. Previous Reuters fact checks debunking claims about Soros can be found, blah, blah, blah. This is the part that pisses me off.
Okay. let me hear
Open
it.
Society Foundation told Reuters via email that the claims made towards Soros in these posts are false and do a disservice to the very bedrock of our democracy as enshrined in the First Amendment. Of course Open Society's going to say that. He's owned by fucking Open Society.
Like, what are you expecting?
So just turn around and say George Soros said this because he's the one who owns the fucking
Well, hold on a
company.
second, hold on a second. You want to be very clear when you want to attribute where to put words. So if it didn't come from his mouth, it's coming from someone, a representative of his company, that gives him at least some leeway. If someone says something fucked up, for him to turn around and go, that's not what we're about, or that person misspoke. And besides, no one, I don't think a lot of places don't have a one-long connection to go right to the source. They're going to go to the company on his behalf. And he owns them. So what do you think they're going to say? Of course they're going to defend him.
And one thing, if you turn around, and this has been proven many times before, and I'm not going to sit here and get into a whole debate about it, because it's not about debating.
Well,
If you sit there and say any type of conspiracy theory or believe in any type of conspiracy theory about him, they automatically name you, oh, you're anti-Semitic.
That's a big problem I've seen too.
that's the same thing with racism.
Straight up
You're
off the
racist
bat,
if you don't believe something.
if you believe a George Soros conspiracy theory, then you're
Yeah.
anti-Semitic.
I've been having this argument.
Bullshit.
It's very similar in principle, but it's not at all in context. But there's a woman who claims that she wrote the Terminator and the Matrix. Her name's Sophia Stewart. She's a black woman who claims that her story and ideas were lifted by the Wachowskis and James Cameron. They went on to make so much money. She got nothing, and this is big thing. And when you sit there and say, and I've made these videos online, when you sit there and say that, and I've said she's a liar because she can't back up her claims, there's a whole big thing about it. Someone's always going to turn around and say, well, of course you're going to say that because she's black. And these studios took a black woman's ideas and she got fucked in the end. I'm like, it has nothing to do with her being black. It's about her being a liar. Have white people screwed over black people? I give you a laundry list throughout history. Yeah, it's happened. Ideas that originate from black creators have been stolen and had by white people and used and whatever. They get nothing. That's happened. Sophia Stewart's not an example of that. And that's the same thing with this. If you say anything negative against him, you're anti-Semitic. No. It's not about being anti-Semitic. I don't care what his ethnicity is. It's about that this is something that doesn't make sense, and these are things that we have evidence for, and this is the theory I have about him. Doesn't make me an anti-Semite. It makes me someone who has questions, and I need to prove whether or not these questions are valid or not. That's all.
Now this man has. Is he just mostly targeted because of the fact that he has a lot of money and he gives it all away?
No, I'll give you some of the reasons. I'm going to answer Anthony's question about the proof on the fact checking. I'm going to read a little snippet here, two little snippets. Major funding for PolitiFact's parent company, the Poynter Institute, includes the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, Ford Foundation, Soros-backed Tides Foundation, and Tides Center, the Carnegie Group of New York, among many others. One project of the Poynter Institute, specifically the International Fact-Checking Network, IFCN, was launched in 2015 with its initial funding coming from the National Endowment for Democracy, backed by the U.S. State Department. Okay, in 2015, who was the president then? Oh, yeah, Barack Obama. Okay, the Amidar Network, Google, Facebook, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and George Soros' Open Society Foundation. So, yes, he does control some of the fact-checking networks.
I wouldn't say it's not just him. It's backed
Didn't
by.
say just
No,
him.
I understand. I'm just trying to make it a little bit. I'm trying to I'm trying to clarify. So he has hands in it. It's not just from him, though. It's also backed by the United States government through him and also Belinda Gates.
Wait a minute, hold on. It's through. It's backed by through the United States government from under a left-wing administration. That would never happen under a right-wing administration. That's number one. Here's another reason what really drives me crazy about George Soros, that everybody wants to say, oh, he's such a sweetheart. No, he's not. Later in the year, heading into the midterms, in an open letter signed by 11 other leftist groups, the Soros-funded Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. They all got cutesy little names like they're going to save this group or that group. It's all the same. Called on big tech CEOs to take immediate action to spread so-called voting disinformation to help prevent the undermining of democracy. The signatories have received a combined $30.3 million from Soros in just a 4-year period. His fingerprints are clearly all over this stuff.
When you say, just clarify what you're saying, because I'm not sure what you mean. Just read that again, because I didn't pick up on it.
Okay, later in the year, heading into the midterms, in an open letter signed by 11 other leftist groups, the Soros-funded Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights called on big tech CEOs to take immediate action to spread so-called voting disinformation.
That's what I was. They're calling to spread disinformation.
Right, and that's
in what form?
Well, when you big tech. That'd be Twitter, Facebook.
I understand that, but I'm saying, in what form is this disinformation? Like, can I get an example of like what?
Well,
do
yeah,
you mean?
You can. You ever go? Have you ever gone? I'm going to give you one example. Have you ever gone on? Now, hold on. In the last couple of years, these big tech companies have come under a lot of fire because of what they did in 2020. All right, by suppressing the Hunter Biden story, you couldn't find it anywhere, let alone Twitter. You couldn't forget Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it now. Okay, that's one way of suppressing vote or spreading disinformation by not putting the truth out there. That's number one. Number two,
splitting hairs, but okay.
It's not splitting hairs.
No, not reporting on it is different than disinformation.
No, when you give the facts and give somebody the actual information that they need to go on, they're going to make an informed decision.
Right, but if you don't report on it at all, it's not the same as putting something out there that's not true.
Okay,
it's a lie by omission versus an outright lie. It's like I said,
lie is a lie. You can say
it's splitting hairs. I understand what you're saying, but it's not the same thing.
Jesus Christ! So that's one.
I'm on your side here. Keep going.
One of the ways that, or many ways that he has control through his money and these cutesy little fucking conference on civil human rights. You know what? I could start a thing thinking that I could start my own human rights thing too, because I don't like what they're doing to whatever. So I can name it whatever I want to make it look all cutesy, but it's still getting his agenda out there. He's put out he's done damage with the people that he supports. All these left wing. Let's look at the crime in the cities that he's backed the DAs in. Let's look at it. They're off the fucking hook. Well, but yet this is what we're facing with this guy. And it needs to come to an end.
Right. I mean,
one thing.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing that. Okay. One thing that I sit here.
Long-winded, I know, but I mean,
No. I understand that.
That's a lot of information to unpack.
One thing that I do sit here and say, like yes, you could sit there and use that. If you're gonna sit there like he's backing these DAs where the crime is high and stuff like that, you could use that against anybody who backs any Democrat or Republican. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're just backing their political party in which they entrust in.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the saying, there's profit in confusion?
Through chaos comes opportunity.
Okay. Very simple. When things go wrong, and totally out of sight, there was opportunities for people. All right? This guy's not stupid. He knows exactly what's going to do.
Worth almost $7 billion.
He knows Alvin Bragg, what he's going to do. All right, he knows the guy Garcon, whatever, and that was actually they were trying to remove him.
I think it's Vachon,
whatever.
Not Garcon.
He was trying to be removed. They tried to remove him from office in California. All right, the guys that you can say other people back, that's fine. Give me some examples, but I can clearly tell you the ones that he's been backing are doing damage to the United States. All right, so I mean, look, you're not going to stop him. He can give his money to whoever he wants. All right. Now, if you were going, I'm going to challenge anybody here to go on BLM's website, look at the very bottom to find out where the monies are going. You tell me. I'm not going to do it. I'll let you guys do it.
One of the things, okay.
And that's. I just want to speak on that real quick. You might be 100% right on that. That's not new though. Like, the charities, like, send us money, we'll make sure it's allocated correctly. there are so many examples of that where it's like, oh no, it's not going to that resource at all. PETA's another one of them where it's like you send money to PETA, it's like it's not going to where they say it's going. The money's being put into other places. That happens a lot. It's not unique for George Soros, although he might be another example of that idea.
Well, being that we're talking about George Soros,
No, I agree.
George
with you.
Soros backs the Black Lives Matter. You're giving money to Black Lives Matter, and it's going everywhere, but to help Black lives. It's simple as that. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
All right.
I don't want to get on the rant about Black Lives Matter. You know, there's some good, but there's a whole lot of bad there.
Even if this sit there and what I'm going to sit there and all right, calm down. I see your face.
No. I saw his eyes go up, and I went, whoop.
Okay. One of the things that, even if you sit there and say that he does the Black Lives Matter, this one, it's been rumored that he does, and I can't find anything. If anybody else can see it, I've been looking.
Can't substantiate it.
The rumor of him donating to Antifa.
See, I can't, again, with the Antifa thing, I'm really lost with Antifa because there's no head of Antifa anywhere. You can't say, you're head of Antifa because they're cowards and they hide behind masks. That's just, it comes down to it.
I mean, if I'm the...
I can claim I'm from Antifa, but I'm really a dog catcher from Cleveland. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Fuck Ohio. If I remember correctly...
I like Ohio, by the way.
If I'm correct, Wes, didn't you say that they were leaving pallets of bricks in Chicago at one point during the riots?
Damn. When were these riots happening again?
Well, that was during the election year.
Yeah, 2020.
No, the one prior to that.
No, that was 2019, I think.
See, I remember piles of bricks showing up out of nowhere.
So do I. Someone had to
and
pay
they were
for
blaming it, but there was never any concrete proof.
Yeah, you can't follow the money.
Who did it? Because no one caught anybody. There was no cameras involved. So again, to say that it's and again, I'm going to say that when it comes to Antifa, if you can't pinpoint it on somebody and you can't bring it to a head of something, to me, you know what? I look at it this way: if they commit a crime, you take care of it to your best ability.
The whole Antifa thing was a little messy, from what I remember.
Oh yeah, it was very messy.
Antifa's just messy to begin with.
It was
when you try to follow that Antifa timeline.
It was during these BLM protests that it was supposedly going peaceful, and then that's when like Molotovs were being thrown and shit.
Right. You have who knows?
And then they were feds on the ground.
Yeah. You had apparently Antifa showing
messy.
up.
It was messy because like nobody was claiming it. Nobody was backing anything.
It's crazy how like the left has Antifa and the right has QAnon. They both done the same shit, and both arguments like, well, there was federal agents in that crowd too. It could be made. That argument was made for both sides. You know what I mean? It's like these riots happened, crazy shit went down. You blame that person, you blame that group, but there was still Fed agents somewhere in that crowd.
There's a difference when you talk about it though. Because when you sit there, because a lot of people sit there and condemn, and again, I'm not saying the riot of January 6th is a good thing. I thought it was fucking stupid. I thought that was completely and utterly stupid.
It was embarrassing.
What I believe, again, and it was a non-de facto answer when they turned around and they actually flat out asked the FBI if there were agents on the ground. They said, we cannot comment on that.
Right, exactly.
Meaning there were agents on the ground at that point.
If you really want to do an episode on January 6th, let's do an episode on January 6th.
All right, yeah.
There's so much there that you can. It's just,
but
it's a joke.
The difference is you have all the left turning around, and even some parts of the right, even some of the right was like that was fucked up. Like there's been a couple people on the right that do not completely agree with what happened on January 6th, but at the same time, when you talk about the stuff about Antifa with the left or Antifa or Black Lives Matter, they're peaceful protests when they're burning down their own buildings. That's what you hear.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead.
Well, no, I do want to go to break. We're at the 25-minute mark.
I'm sorry.
I do want to take a short little break, hear from our sponsors, and when we get back, I do want to go through this list, this routers, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I just got one thing I want to bring up for you to do that. It's not very small.
All right, what? Okay, never mind. And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey everybody, we're just letting you know that we have new merch in our store. Go to greenhourmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenhourmedia.org, or the link in the bio for our first ever logo drop. The cryptid collection is here. Get your favorite cryptids such as Bigfoot, Mothman, Nessie, the Yeti, or the Jersey Devil on t-shirts, hats, or mugs. You can also get all of our podcast logos on various items as well. Remember, that's greenarrowmediastore.myspreadshop.com, greenarrowmedia.org, or the link in the bio. New episodes of Is This Real drop Sundays at 8. Question everything.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real podcast and our parent company Green Arrow Media, then visit greenarrowmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenarrowmedia.org.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have night time for Mr. West, as he's trying to sleep over there.
I wasn't. I was just letting my stomach chill.
The high point is back, ladies and gentlemen. But
Carbonated.
Real quick,
what's up?
I just want to put this in there because maybe we could talk about it later, but I'm looking at something about his wealth history. It drastically dropped from 2017 to 2018, and it has not risen since then.
Oh no, he went from $80 billion to $4 billion.
You know,
Okay, first
where
of
did that
all-
money go is the big question. That's a lot of fucking money.
Exactly. It's
Like-
recorded at 25.2 billion was the highest, and that was in 2017. And we're now in 2023, and it actually shows 6.7 billion.
And it dropped in 2018. And when did the really big riots start happening? Around
2018,
2019.
So yeah, I mean, like the follow the money is what we say all the time on this podcast. We're trying to figure out who's behind something, but at the same time, when you look at someone like George Soros, that is a huge number. Yes, he's still a billionaire, granted, but 25 million down to 6 million in the span of 6 years, that would be a financial.
No. In 1 year.
the one-
2017, he was at 25.2 million. 2018, he was at 6
Yeah, and
Are we
most
talking
most
billion or million?
No, 8
billion.
8 billion.
yeah,
8
most
billion.
people who are like ahead of like companies like that, they're offing themselves like it's harakiri. You know what I mean? Like, because that is considered a major financial loss.
Where's that money going?
That's the big question. You know, it's the same thing like this writer strike. From what I heard, they're losing $66 million a week for every week. The studios are losing $66 million a week. Pay them accordingly, and you won't be losing that money. If you're gonna lose the money anyway, make them happy, move on. But that's a different thing. Like this, that to me sounds like financial disaster.
Or if he's not sitting there doing it, it's going somewhere as funding something.
Sure, but he's not making anything back, and that's where you look and go,
Doesn't matter.
no, I know it doesn't matter, but the
Because
same.
you're talking right there, that's in the middle of Trump's presidency.
You know, I understand that.
So he could have been funding any
But-
Democrats
but-
that were going to be running up against Trump.
Yeah, but
Well,
if you-
he's been doing that for years, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, you look at like how much can bricks cost? You know, you're not talking billions of dollars worth of bricks.
But you're talking about, first of all, it's not even just bricks. You're talking about bricks. You're talking about getting these people clearances and stuff like that. And you're talking about actually paying people to sit there and start shit.
Yeah, that's
You-
fine, but that's still not billions of dollars. That's you are underestimating how much billions means.
No,
like, millions is a lot.
I understand that. I understand that. And maybe there might be financial.
Like a million seconds is 11 days. A billion seconds is 33 years.
No.
32 years. There's a significant difference between the and the buh. So to lose $20 billion in the span of a year,
and he doesn't seem like he cares.
that's not something that's like, oh yeah, went to bricks for the riots. Like, no, it's going somewhere else. Where's it going is a big fucking mystery.
Well, Dad, you wanted to get
Military.
to something before I went into the Roaders.
Well, yeah, you know what? It's probably not important now. We were talking about the riots or whatever, and I just wanted to make a little comment that, you know, I know if you're aware of what's going on with the Jason Aldean situation, with this song he wrote or whatever, it turned out that everybody's going to have their own opinion, and I'm not going to give into my opinion, but that's the way it is. But what really irked me is when his pick of the group of the song was that, you know what, it happened. It can't happen in a small town because we'll take care of it. because we look after each other's back, and that's fine coming from your perspective. I understand that, but what really irked me is when I was going through doing my research, Whoopi Goldberg decided to open her big fucking mouth again, and she said, "Well, you know what, Mister? When they were doing the riots." And they were, doing the riots. They were looking after each other's back because they thought they had injustice too. So and then again, no one calls her out and says, "Well, excuse me, Mrs. Goldberg, whatever your name is."
They did call her out.
Nothing screams justice like a color screen, a big screen TV. Okay. Come on, you know what? That's
look
irresponsible.
Again,
hard to say that.
Not getting, but she did get called out.
She did get called. I heard that
Jason
too.
Aldean is suing her for defamation.
Thank God,
because she called him a racist.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you just take the lyrics for what they are, and you put no interpretation in them, and that's the thing about art. It's from everyone's perspective. If you were to take just those lyrics and don't think about them whatsoever, there's nothing wrong in and of those words. It's a fine song.
Well, no, it's where
when
your
you
mind.
start.
It's where
Think,
your mind, the person's
correct.
mind takes
When
it.
you start adding your own experience and context to those words, then they can be misinterpreted.
well, that's too bad.
But that's for
And
that's literally for any music.
That's the whole thing with art, unfortunately.
Like what? Okay. Well, again, I know this is like completely off base, but like,
If I have a problem with that song, I want the
hold
same
on.
problem with the rap songs that are killing everybody else.
well, it's not killing anybody else,
Oh
but
no,
like,
you're right.
but no, but it goes to the point. A couple years ago, they wanted to ban "Baby It's Cold Outside," but the number one song at that point was "Wet Ass Pussy." Like, how do you sit there and say like, "Oh,
Right.
this is a bad song," but "Wet Ass Pussy" is the number one song in America?
Right, and like
That's because everybody loves a wet ass pussy.
And there he is.
That's all you got to say. You can't ever bring that argument.
But at
up.
the same point, like again, it goes into interpretation. The one song by Kiss.
That's right.
And hold on, no,
He's right here about cold weather.
it's not
Nigga,
just
like,
rap
like
either.
white
I mean, hold on.
pussy.
It's not just rap either. Fucking Cannibal Corpse put out songs like, I want to drink your blood and shit like that. And he was arrested because he found skulls and guns and shit in his house. Like, he might have been writing from experience, but like, there's violence in all forms
But
of
again,
art.
and
It's
it-
not just
Go
rap.
pick on that.
And
Don't
it-
pick on something that's not
And
violent.
again, it goes into interpretation of any song. The one song by Kiss, what is it? Room Service. We all know what that song is about.
Right.
But if you just sit there and say,
I've
like,
been in room service many times. That's never been on a fucking menu, and I want to know why.
okay, we know exactly what that guy was talking
Damn
about.
it.
But
I'll explain later.
yeah, we'll explain later. I'll read you the lyrics later.
There are so many
Baby,
songs.
I could
And
use
that's
a
the
meal.
thing, and that's what I'm
room
saying.
service.
Like with this song, it's like you read the lyrics and you listen to the song, and you're like, if you add any experience or ideas to it, context, and you go, yeah, read between the lines here. What is he really saying? What could he really be saying? I should say.
Well, in your
exactly.
interpretation.
But at the same time, if you just like, this is
It's
a
not even
song.
that. When you turn around, people could turn around and be like people from small towns would be like, yeah, that happened. We did that.
Yeah.
Like it goes into your own experiences.
It could be we take care of each other. We we
So you-
enjoy each other. We're a good community. At the same time, you can also look what happened to Emmett Till.
Well, yeah,
It happened in a small
but
town.
but if you think about it, also Bruce Springsteen's one song is "We Take Care of Our Own."
Yeah.
That song could be interpreted as anti any other.
And
But
we
they're
know
not
Bruce
gonna-
is not Republican.
They're not going to get on Bruce because
No, I know that, but
you know.
we're getting off a whole thing here again. Tangent. Hello.
He's also
focus.
not like that. Like try that in a small town is very aggressive.
AD
Bruce didn't say that in his song.
Well,
Back to
if you
Soros.
listen to the
Back to
song,
Soros.
as well,
I
yeah.
know. I understand.
Back
what
to
you're saying,
Soros.
Joe.
Okay.
I get it. Too.
So we're gonna sit here and go through. We're gonna go through Soros.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I've had enough. Again, I rant last week. I've had enough
Okay.
of this
Okay.
shit.
Calm.
But
Back
go
it.
ahead.
Back
come
it
on.
down.
George Soros.
New podcast idea. Big Joe's uncensored thoughts will last the whole 30 seconds because it's gonna be canceled after that.
It's
But
one-
let's give him a shot.
One entire.
I give you a preview now. Fuck the left. Fuck the left. Our sponsors. I mean, come on. It's like I'm so tired.
There will be
of
no sponsors.
whining
Sponsored by
and
Gunther's Gun
whining
Store.
about everybody's crying.
What
the
sponsors?
victim
High
and the
Brain by
blue-
Alex Jones.
I'm such a victim.
The Proud
Anyhow,
Boys.
Okay. Back to Soros. All right. So there's a couple things that Reuters turned around and says, and again, I haven't done the research on where these claims have come from.
So let's talk about it with no basis in reality.
Well,
Let's
no,
go.
again, hold on, but no, this is Reuters. It's supposed to be a fact-checking site, right?
Yeah. Oh boy.
We're supposed to take their word because they have the political upper hand, right?
Please, someone screenshot that and send it to me. When the video
So-
goes up, I want that picture of him going political with his eyes crossed. Send that to me. Make that a fucking thing on TikTok.
All right.
I want to see profile pictures with his face like that.
Soros is not a former Nazi. That is the number one thing that they turn around. So Reuters debunked a false claim that a photograph shows a young Soros in Nazi uniform. And it says here. Yes.
Nani?
Yes,
I'm having a hard time believing that one.
There
at
is
all.
apparently a photograph of George Soros that's circulating on the internet that he is in Nazi
You're a
garb.
sick bastard. You really are. You're a sick man.
And it says, here, but
I have a hard time believing that. The whole thing about Nazis is they hate Jews.
listen to this.
I'm listening, but that makes no sense.
During the time Nazis were active, Soros would not have met the age requirements to be in the Schutzstaffel. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
That's one of their military
Hitler
ranks.
used?
I don't know if it's
Wait, what's it called? Shitstopple?
Yeah, Shitstop.
Sounds like a butt plug.
That's okay. That's anti-Nazi. We're okay with that one.
That's fine.
That's fine. That's approved.
That's a good.
Woohoo!
You finally found an entire group of people you can hate on, and no one's gonna give you shit. Go after those crow-eating sons of bitches.
No, that's Germans. We can't turn around and say that against Germans.
What were the Nazis, Joe?
Yeah, but that's
I'm not gonna plug and play easy with the Nazis. They were German.
yeah, but that's like
Not all Germans were Nazis, but all Nazis were Germans. Okay.
okay.
Hey, man, I found a fucking group to hate, and you fucking don't take my thunder,
Okay,
man.
Soros and his family were Hungarian Jews who lived in Budapest during the war, disguising their identities for safety. In 1947, at the age of 17, Soros moved to London to attend university. By the time he was 17, the fall of the Nazi Germany had already happened. Soros could not have possibly been involved in the Nazi Party, which was active between 1920 and 1945. He is also a Hungarian Jew. Why do I put that in there? It's a Hungarian Jew.
That's when the early beginnings of the Nazi parties were as early as the 20s.
Further disproving this theory, in 1998, 60 Minutes interview, Soros says his father forged his family's identity to protect them. Soros, as a teenager, was placed under custody of government officials with the premise of being his godson. During this time, Soros witnessed, but did not actively participate, the confiscation of Jewish property. In the interview, Soros said he didn't feel guilt looking back at these events, mentioning that he was a child at the time and that he was a spectator to something that would have happened regardless of his presence.
Yeah, and not for nothing, there's a lot of children who were spectators who were hauled off and they were exterminated. So he was not old enough, and he was a Jewish man. There's no way that they would be like, you know what, let's make an exception. He seems like a bright young lad. Do you like him too? We don't. Oh, Hans, do you have a size 6? Get him a uniform, Hans.
No.
Mike, okay, but Mike,
He's our exception Jew. That doesn't happen.
but I don't know if this is a fact or not. I don't know. I
Maybe
believe,
we don't hate all of them. You know what I mean?
but there are examples.
Gunter? What?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut up. You
Give me an
killed
example
Dad.
of any Jews who were spared by the Nazis because they happened to be drinking buddies.
I don't know about spared, but I believe there are, there had to be sympathizers within the Jewish party.
No! There were not sympathizers. There
Who
was no
saved-
sympathizers.
Who
Time
tried to
out.
save their own ass?
Time out.
Trying to
Time
save
out.
their own ass, maybe, but they were still
Time.
not going to be like.
Time.
Shut the fuck up.
Time out. I'm going to clarify this for you right now. Yes, there were people in the German party, the Nazi party, who did not like what was going on.
No. We're talking
he's
about
saying
reverse.
Reverse. That some
And then
Jews
not-
were like, you know what? No, it's fine. You can take my cousin. I'm an important
Oh,
Jew.
well-
You're telling me there weren't Jews that sold out other Jews just to protect their own ass?
Yeah, there were. They absolutely did.
They-
That's exactly what happened. And then
Yeah.
you know what happened? They didn't get favoritism from the Germans. They were still labeled as Jews.
Well-
Maybe they had better privileges and they weren't taken as fast. But eventually, they were told to get on the fucking train too.
Yeah, I don't think that they were. I think Anthony's absolutely right. I think what happened there was they used them against their own people to further their own actions. But when they had no more use for them, they did what they did to them, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think that they went out buddying and drinking together. But they did use them, and they did promise them this, promise them that. And they knew all along. That
Remember,
they
up
were,
until they led them into the fucking showers at Auschwitz, that's what it was. We're just going in there to shower and delouse you while they were stripping these people of everything they fucking ever had. They lied about getting on the train. We're just taking you to a camp, and it's only a few weeks. And then they lied, put your clothes there, you'll get a fresh set when you're out of the shower. And they lied even up to the point where they shut the door and said, don't worry, the faucets will be on in a minute to clean you guys up. They wanted these people exterminated. Doesn't matter if you're what part of the world you came from.
What was the safest place for...
The saddest thing is I can't even argue with the guy. He's absolutely right.
What was the safest place for a Jew in Hitler's Germany? A cellar or an attic, a forest, at home with a well-connected Aryan spouse? The answer was in Hitler's military. In the Wachtmacht, the Kriegsmarine, or the Luftwaffe. I don't know what the fuck any of those mean.
They're just different levels of the German military.
At least until the tide of war turned, all three began to suffer staggering losses. Some said
Luftwaffe sounds yummy.
the Luftwaffe, I think it's just Luftwaffe. It's not a waffle. Luftwaffe was the best because Göring protected his own. Whichever branch wearing a uniform was like slipping into the coat of armor of invisibility.
Right, but that was not them saying, I'm a Jew. It was them lying and saying, I'm born this way. They hid their ethnicity so they weren't exterminated and targeted and exterminated.
They're not saying. They're saying they were dutifully enlisted.
Yeah, they did dutifully enlist under the pretense that they're not Jewish.
Once-
Where are you going to hide? Your whole point is hiding, correct?
No. They turned around and they said they enlisted and wrote on their documenting. They described himself first as a German and then a Jew second. And he wrote it on his military enlistment.
There might be some exceptions, Anthony. I mean, look, the World War II...
Jewish allegiance to Germany in the early days of the Third Reich is one of the great unrequited love stories of history.
I'll have to do some fucking more research into that. Because from what I understand... that was like a no zone.
Many of these Jews believed the Nuremberg racial laws and the rising tide of anti-Semitism did not apply to them. They were not Ostjuden, whom they perceived...
Austrian Jews.
Whom they perceived as uneducated and superstitious. German Jews were cultured. They were patriotic. Many could trace the roots in Germany back for generations. One officer who served in the Waffen SS was a descendant of Jews who had fled the Inquisition and settled in Germany 4 centuries earlier. There are Jews who served in Hitler's...
But they were not primarily Jews. They were German Jews, meaning they married Jewish. They have Jewish ancestry, but they're not somebody.
Jews are religion. It's not you're sitting here saying I'm a primary. Where's the Jew?
Hold on a second. Judaism is one of the few religions in the world that's also it's a double thing. It's also the ethnicity, and you can sit there and go like Sarah, right? Sarah is. Like ethnically speaking, she's from like the Russian border, Russian, Poland, Eastern European. She's not exactly sure, but she never goes, "I'm Russian." She goes, "I'm Jewish," and that's how a lot of Jewish members of the Jewish faith identify because it's both the ethnicity and
no, it's not.
No, it is.
No, it's not. When you have to sit there, and that's why I sit there and turn around. And
I think
no.
it's a gray area at best.
Where does your family come from? There is no place as Jew because Jews spread all over the world. There is no Jew land. There is nothing like that. And I don't mean it.
Time out. I want that stricken. Jew land?
I was about to say, I don't mean it in as harshly as it sounded.
It's called Israel.
No!
First of all, there is some validity to what Anthony's saying as far as...
That's just because they sit there and say that doesn't mean it's correct. I could sit there and say, well...
Who are you to tell them it's correct? It's a whole nation of people.
Where's the nation?
The nation is Israel.
The nation is the people.
So they're Israeli then.
You can have
Israelis are Israelis.
So hold on. So if you're telling me that you're Jewish, that means you come from Israel. No, I come from Russia. Then your family comes from Russia. You're not. I'm not. You're not Israeli.
Right. You can do that. You can have that. You can have as far as Russian Jews, Polish Jews, where
you can have Jews from every fucking sense.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right. But primarily they're Jewish people that want to claim to be Jewish people. Literally would say, it started in Israel. Now you can argue that there's a lot of room to argue, but in Israel we have churches We have people that are born
But
Christian.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. But
Just because you turn around and say you're Jewish doesn't mean they put German first because they were putting patriotism over their Jewish heritage.
well, you know what happened? You know why that is? I'll tell you why that is. You can blame that on the Nazis. You can blame that on the Nazis for carrying the word Jew first. You know, other than the original. What do you call that?
Like, don't go by your religion.
What word am I looking for?
Religion, like
ethnicity,
culture,
Ethnicity. Okay, so they made it that way. Well, you're a Jewish Polak, or you're a Jewish this, or you're a Jewish that. Okay, you wanted to exterminate a religion,
but again, yes,
that you claimed was, ethnic.
destroying
your Germany. And I understand to bring it back to George Soros. Now, again, there's no proof that he turned around and he did any of that. But what the whole rant was going about was there were Jews who did serve in the Nazi Party. And that doesn't mean they sit there and said all Jews did this, and it wasn't. All right.
I'd have to do more research.
There is no proof here.
I can tell you that there's a lot of Jews that worked for the Nazis because they were forced to work.
Right.
That's one thing. You can't sit there and say that. Oh, they joined up freely. No, they didn't.
No, but there were some who did. There were some who didn't.
Have to look into
and
that.
put
That's
their
what I'm saying.
patriotism over their religion.
I'd have to look into that. I'd have to
Well,
see.
I got to be honest with you, Joey. To be totally honest with you, if you're going to put your patriotism over your religion, and your patriotism was to the Nazi Party, you're just as guilty as they are.
I'm not saying they're not guilty.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, I think what the debate here is, Anthony is like, well, no Jews were sitting there doing sympathizing with the Nazi Party whatsoever. There is historic proof that there are.
Let's put that proof into context.
And
towards the beginning of Nazism, before it became let's exterminate all of them.
Let's just say we'll do our research on it, and we'll talk about it next week, because right now times are fleeting here.
Yeah, and I'm
next George Soros.
I'm not, again, with this one, I'm not saying that George Soros is the person who did do that. Again, we don't have proof of that.
That's the conspiracy theory that's going around.
There is a picture floating around that looks like a young George Soros compared to his younger photos in Nazi garb. It's not him.
Yeah. Okay, so we have that out of the way. So it's unlikely, and it didn't happen.
Named Victor something.
So Georgie Boy was not a Nazi.
The second one.
Okay.
Soros never swore to destroy the USA.
I've never heard that. Sounds like a Batman
Reuters
film.
found no evidence of Soros saying this. Other fact checkers have also debunked this specific quote. No, the version of the quote. Well, let me get the quote here. Hold on.
It's like, what is he saying? I need that quote.
So this is from PolitiFacts.
Was it in a book? Was it in an interview?
So quotes saying, George Soros, I've made my life's mission to destroy the United States. I hate this country and all the people in it.
Oh.
Wow.
That's very black and white for someone who's working in the shadows.
But there, apparently it is from, again, that same 1998, Newsweek 1979. The full quote reads, I've made my life's mission to destroy the United States. I hate this country, and I hate all people in it. And this is from Newsweek 1979. And apparently, no one can find that issue of Newsweek.
So either it's a Mandela effect or it doesn't exist.
Further, we searched news clips more broadly and found no legitimate record that he said this in any other publication or interview either. In the 40 years since the quote was supposedly published in a news magazine, not one credible source has ever mentioned it, something that would have certainly happened given Soros' prominence and the inflammatory nature of the comment.
Well, if it's Newsweek, that means it's probably printed. This is in the 70s. Mm-hmm. So Newsweek would be a printed journalistic journal thing that's out there, a magazine. So we could pull shit from all the time from like the 50s, 60s, 70s of like, look how it used to be. There's got to be, if that's true, then someone's got a copy of it floating around somewhere.
I was going to say, like, it's impossible for them to have, I don't want to say impossible, but it's the probability of them actually receiving every single issue that they printed out is
it's a catalog.
Very, very slim.
I mean, I don't know
if it's real,
because the reason I say that, because if it's in 1979, if it's from Newsweek, that means it's a monthly thing.
Correct.
So you take
which is what Tony's saying, that someone out there has.
Yeah.
That
So
issue.
there's 12 issues. Even it could be a library that usually keeps these
archives.
Things.
Yeah.
In archives, someone go fucking search it up.
Exactly. If no one can prove up it, it's the same thing I say about the Fruit of the Loom shit.
But here's the thing.
They go.
We found a part of we found that part of the quote was used in boldface type and attributed to Soros in a 2011 Breitbart article that discusses the looming breakdown in society, placing the blame on the veterans and descendants of radical left from the 60s. And apparently George Soros said there are those who wish to do nothing more than fan these flames. Destroying America will be the culmination of my life's work.
Yikes.
From Breitbart.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's from Breitbart?
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe it.
I wouldn't believe it either.
Breitbart's Republican right wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this article provides no details on where or when Soros
See,
allegedly said
with
that.
a statement like that, now, could he have said it? Possibly.
He
But
probably could have gotten a little
again,
drunk and said some
if
things like
everybody
that.
seems to know about it, where is it? I want to see it. And if you can't produce it, well then you know what? Shut
But
the
I
fuck
want
up
to see
about it.
at some point somebody has to turn around and go look at every article, every issue of Newsweek
Fine.
in 1979. Read through each fucking Newsweek. I mean,
Someone
if
would
it's
have done
not
that by
in
now.
there,
Someone would have done that by now. And
Yeah.
it's that same thing like Bill Murray. It's like, you ever heard that Bill Murray was walking in his apartment building, walked into some random apartments, they were doing a party, they did the dishes, and he was just leaving like, oh my God, you're Bill Murray. He's like, no one will ever believe you.
Mhm.
And he just walked out. It's like, where's the proof? It's like, it's a great story, but is it real?
yeah.
Damn,
So,
that motherfucker was ugly.
yeah. Again,
we've established
it's something.
that-
Again, this is something from Steve Bannon, and I don't listen to Steve Bannon to begin with anyway. So,
So we've
What's that one on the whole like European migrant thing?
I've not gotten to that one yet, even if it's in here.
So right now we
'Cause I
think
know he's like-
Reuters we're 2 for 2 with Reuters. We believe that what they're saying is accurate. That he
This
wasn't a
one-
Nazi and he didn't say that he's going to destroy
This
America.
one, I think, we all have sit there and discuss, and I think it's true, but they say it's not.
Go on.
George Soros does not own Antifa or Black Lives Matter. Own? Okay, maybe yes. Does he contribute to it?
Different.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
A
Well,
spokesperson for Open Society told Reuters via email, "We proudly support organizations that promote civic engagement and champion the right of all Americans to petition their government for redress and grievances. Those protesting the death of Mr. Floyd and police brutality across the nation do so out of a deep and abiding concern for country. They don't do so for pay from these foundations or any other, as some cynics claim."
Okay. I mean, it's very specific with their words. Does he own it? No, he doesn't own it. Does he contribute to it? We've kind of established that he does.
Black Lives Matter is a largely horizontal grassroots global organization. Its co-founders Opal Tometi, Patrice Cullors,
Opal, not Opal. Sorry. You pissed me off.
Isn't that a fucking rock and roll?
Yes.
I thought it meant like clear.
Just keep reading.
Okay. And Alicia Garza stated the movement in 2013 after the death of Trayvon Martin. The co-founders recently told the New Yorker that Black Lives Matter has always been somewhat decentralized and operates in the horizontal matter. We have always said the power goes to the local chapter because they know what's going on in that area. The organization recently set up a $12 million grant to help organizations fighting institutional racism and an upsurge in donations amid the current protests. Again, this is years ago. Beyonce and Prince are among, obviously, it's years ago. Beyonce and Prince are among the celebrities who have donated to Black Lives Matter in previous years. Open Society Foundation donates to groups worldwide. Some of their previous donations, including to Black Lives Matter and Planned Parenthood, have been subject to controversy in the U.S. It is unclear if the foundation has donated to Black Lives Matter in the last month. And again, Antifa is short for anti-fascist. It is a amorphous, I said that correctly,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Movement whose adherents oppose people or groups they consider authoritarian. That's right, or racist, often using aggressive tactics. According to the Anti-Defamation League, which monitors extremists, horizontal in nature and largely lacking official organization, it is unclear how Antifa is funded at all. So that's not of, we know that he doesn't.
The answer is it's a non-answer.
Yeah.
We don't know where the money comes from, or rather, it's hard to sit there and delegate.
I do have
Ownership.
here, however, though, that a list of,
And they're by any means necessary.
some list of George Soros. does actually give to anti-police activists in 2021. Groups of anti-police.
Well, you could follow the money, sure.
$35 million to anti-police groups in 2021. Among the efforts by Soros' OSF network was a $15 million contribution to Tied to Advocacy for the Electoral Justice Project. According to Fox, again, this is Fox News' review of the tax documents sent by OSF officials. That project is led by the Movement for Black Lives, a nonprofit which supports defunding the police, property damage amid the commission of civil disobedience, voting rights for undocumented migrants, and more. The Movement for Black Lives has also supported controversial figures including Sundiata Acali, who
Keep talking. I don't know what you mean.
once a member of the national sect of the Black Panther Party in the 1960s, who was convicted of murdering a cop during a traffic stop.
Isn't that the same one who fled to Cuba?
That's Tupac's mother.
What?
That's Afeni Shakur.
Oh, my table floated.
Dear God.
What's going on with Christina?
Nothing. Are you listening to me?
I'm listening. Yeah,
Oh, then what did I say?
I'm listening, and I'm also doing my own research.
Okay.
Ish.
So basically, he's funded anti-police, but again, that they're saying a non-answer for Antifa because obviously nobody knows,
Nobody knows, right?
and
It's a big fuck you.
yeah. So basically, and the last one here is Soros did not pay for protesters after Trump's election. Following Trump's 2016 win, some far-right claims suggested that actors, including Soros, funded the Not My President protest. Open Society denied paying these protesters in any way. Soros has been mistakenly accused of sponsoring protests after Brett Kavanaugh, whatever the fuck that guy's name is, Supreme Court appointment.
Kavanaugh.
There you go.
Jesus Christ.
And protests against racism in Ferguson, Missouri. Open Society recently explained in a tweet, "We do not pay for protesters. Neither does our founder, George Soros. Claims that we do serve to delegitimize those who are exercising their constitutionally protected right to protest peacefully and petition the government for redress of grievances."
So you're asking them themselves, do you support? And they went, listen, we support the idea, but we're not giving it any money. Right? They're going to say that's a stock answer. You can't find the money
Well,
because
again,
who knows where the fuck is
but
running
when-
Antifa.
But Antifa is different. Like they say they do give some money to Black Lives Matter. The claim is he owns Black Lives Matter.
He
and
does not
Antifa.
own anything.
He doesn't own them.
Well, he does own things. He doesn't own BLM.
But he obviously does give money to.
And he gives money to a lot of things. Like you were just listing all these things, the anti-police thing. He spreads his wealth out amongst the groups that he thinks that are in line with his political ideals. These BLM happens to be one of the biggest ones that some of his money went to. But does that mean he owns them? No, doesn't mean he owns shit.
No. But there was a rumor, and I do you remember this rumor, Dad? That apparently the three owners of Black Lives Matter did spend a weekend at George Soros' house.
No, I can go by one better.
Okay.
The one guy who was in charge of BLM bought a house or rented a house from George Soros.
Oh, okay.
That's what
That
the rumor
muddies
was
the
going.
waters.
That's-
Absolutely.
That was going well. Again, it's just a theory. I never heard any proof on it. I never did any research on it. But I do know one thing.
If it's true, that definitely muddies the waters.
There's a lot of money here, okay? The money in the waters, he's very good at giving his money to other people. And he funds the Democratic people, the Democratic causes. We all know that. But through BLM, he found a way to funnel the money from BLM to Act Blue. Act Blue, then delegates money to Democratic caucuses and whatever, Democratic candidates. So the candidates are getting the money through George Soros, not through direct donation, but through Act Blue. And that's on BLM's website. And BLM tried to debunk that, but they can't debunk it because it's right there in black and white.
Hold on a second. I understand what you're saying, but you're also making that assumption that Soros is telling him, I'm giving you this money to donate to them. They're giving the money to BLM, but BLM is also taking money from other places as well, and then they turn around and give it to ACT. So if some money's coming from George Soros under his direction, that's one thing. It's another thing to sit there and say, listen, he gave money and then BLM spent it on these things.
I can tell you for a fact that that Black Lives Matters has a lot of donators. Amazon, Coca-Cola. I can give you a laundry list. There's at least 10 major. Yes, they do give the money, and then you're right. But again, we're talking about George Soros here. George Soros. If George Soros is giving money to an organization, and then that organization is funneling it with whoever else through another company that's doing, giving that money to the Democratic Party's agenda, that is a problem, and he has to be responsible for that. So being that we are talking about George Soros, he is guilty, in fact, of funneling his money to act. So that's who we're talking about here. Now, yeah, you're right. There
You
are
have
other
to
people.
establish that that they're doing it under his direction. You have to establish that
The money's going into BLM.
Hold on a second.
BLM is falsely taking that money. What do they do with the money?
Well, you just said they're giving it to you're giving it to things.
So what does BLM
Talking
do?
to the mic.
What does BLM do with the donations from the billions of dollars they get? What do they do?
Like I just said, you
Where?
just said you're giving it to places like Act Blue, and you're giving it to other things that in their eyes line up with their political agenda.
Okay, so in fact, if that is illegal or you can't do that, then again, I ask you the question: why are they doing it?
Mike,
Why, I mean,
I'm not giving an answer for why they're doing it. I'm not saying what they're doing is right or wrong. What I'm saying is your line of logic is not all the way there. Like, if we all give money to Joey, and Joey's gonna buy us tickets to go see a show, and he doesn't, then we can get pissed off. He used that money himself because it was going to benefit us. But if we all give money to Joey, and then Joey turns around and gives that money to something else, and we're not expecting that money back anyway, then when that other thing goes down, they're going to look at Joey like, you made the donation. Well, I got the money from him. They're not caring where the money came from after that. The source came from you, from Joey. That's where they're going to look at. That's the person who funded it directly.
All right. So what you're telling me is you're giving Joey money to buy tickets for a group of people, and he's not doing. He's buying his own. All right. He's using the money falsely.
Right. That would benefit us
Okay.
in the end.
So, and I'm going to ask you this, and please think about it before you answer. The money that has been given to BLM, George Soros included, what are they getting for that money?
Well, I have a list right here. This is from... Again, what is this? This is the New York Post. And they looked at the documents for Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter National Organization, I don't know what year, 2022. Black Lives Matter
All right,
National Organization.
Can I interject here? Can you please use another source? New York Post is right wing. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, you could sit there and say it's right wing, but if it's in black and white.
All right. Well,
Yeah, if they're reading the documents, I don't care. Like, at that point, I'm like, as long as they're not.
I want to keep it fair here.
What I'm saying is, if the New York Post is reading the tax receipts, and that, to me, that's the source.
It's public filings.
Then that's fine to me. To me, that's non-political. It's coming from a red source, but if you're just telling me what the fact is, then that's the fact.
All right, read away.
Okay, so Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation in Oakland. An Oakland, California-based nonprofit gave away $30.5 million in grants to black, trans, and anti-police nonprofits in the fiscal years of 2020 and 2021, according to two federal filings which cover the periods from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2022. This total includes the $4.5 million the group doled out last year to nonprofits run by the movement's own supporters and friends, even BLMGNF. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Registered losses of more than $8.9 million last year, the latest public figures for the fiscal year 2021. The group also gave a grant to the harshest former critics, paying out $400,000 to Tamir Rice Foundation. So basically...
So they're giving money away to places that they feel deserve the money.
Burned through most of $90 million in donation in 2 years. $30 million grants to charitable donation, $22 million in expenses, $12 million purchase of luxury homes in LA and Toronto, $961,000 investment loss, $833,000 in fundraising costs, and $722,000 in salaries.
So the cost of doing business, which is having offices throughout the country, countries, because apparently Toronto evolved, so let's throw Canada in the mix. So you have to pay rent, you have to pay electricity and all that shit. You got to pay insurance. So that's a cost that they have to expend. They donate a lot of money to various causes, and they took care of themselves by themselves some nice fucking houses.
So I'm gonna get into this last
Can't
part.
do that though. That's not right.
We're getting to this last part, and then we're gonna take a break because we're almost at 40 minutes here. So paid. This is including the $22 million in expenses, including paid to BLM-GNF board members Charlemagne Shayama Bowers and her consulting firm, which was over $2 million, to Patrice Culler's brother and his security company, which is over $1.6 million, paid to Trap Heels LLC, a company run by the father of Culler's child, which is almost $1 million, to a former board member's consulting firm in connection with a contract dispute, $600,000, and pay out to former manager director Kaylee Scales, which is $114,000.
The only thing in there that makes sense to me would be the security one, because you do need security for various projects and events and shit. That makes sense to me. And yeah, okay, someone on your board owns a security company. That is self-dipping. At the same time, it is a legitimate thing that you spend money on as far as operations.
But if you add all that up, again, this is just a part of it, because that's right here. This is
let's
maybe
face facts real quick. Nonprofit's never really a nonprofit because the board members still have to get paid. I work for a nonprofit. That's what the PAC is. It is a nonprofit school, but someone has to pay the teachers.
And if you add all the stuff up that they just added here, what I just said, it comes up to like maybe a little bit over $5 million.
In just operation costs.
But there it has $22 million in expenses. So there could be a lot more that they're just not listing here for right now.
It could be that, or it could be.
I got one question that maybe somebody can help me with. Now, like I said, Amazon, Coca-Cola, all these companies are donating to Black Lives Matter. Why would you donate a company, first of all, to an organization like Black Lives Matter?
And again, how does this affect with George Soros?
Well, again, why would George Soros, if he says he's he's got all these nice little places where, Democratic, all the stuff he names his companies and whatever. I'm going to call it like everybody, the protests, we'll call it to be nice. Okay. A peaceful protest does not stand there and scream what they scream. Now, why would you give your money to that? If George Soros is in fact trying to show that he's a law and order guy, or he wants to make sure that things are run correctly, you don't give your money to extremist groups unless they're doing your bidding.
May I offer one insight that I think you're ignoring?
Yeah,
There's a lot of BLM protests. There's a lot of protests that are peaceful, that go on without a hitch, nothing to report on, nothing. You're looking at the few and making that the rule of all. They're the exception, not the norm. You have lots of protests going on. Most of them, not a problem happens. No one's screaming.
I would
It's
not
a
turn
protest.
around and say most.
I would say
as far as if you look at the years of 2019
when
and
they
2020,
make national news and buildings are burned, that's a
It's-
big fucking
but-
problem.
but it-
That is the exception.
no, it's not the exception.
Get
That
the
was
fuck
happening
outta
the entire
here.
summer of
Okay,
2020.
please,
Anthony.
That
what
is
this,
not-
fantasy land we're dealing with now.
Any
not
city,
fantasy
and look,
land.
I don't want to get into this right now because this is
Oh
a
my
debate number one,
God.
and we're kind of running overtime right now. That right there was just the entire outline of 2016 to 2020 as far as when you got in any political anything happening as far as a black man was murdered and they burned down that city.
That didn't happen in every single instance. And there was a lot of black men who were murdered during that time.
And
There was a lot of protests during that time, and not every single one ended in a riot. That's not true.
Yeah, especially the ones that were killed by black men.
Some people did. Some did. I'm not saying that they didn't happen. Some protests did turn into
Don't
riots.
say that,
But
though.
they are not the norm. They are the exception. And because they're exception, that is why they're on the news.
I totally disagree with you. I think Black Lives Matter was born out of the George Floyd movement. Okay,
when did
that's
George
where
Floyd?
the 2020. That's when it
well,
started.
no, Black Lives Matter started in 2013.
Yeah,
Okay.
it happened with Trayvon Martin. Is that who you said
Yeah,
it was?
Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
The bottom line is no one heard of this until George Floyd was killed.
You're right. So from
Or
the years
not
of
George,
2013 to 2020, Black Lives Matter existed. It's 7 years where it existed, where they were doing protests, where they were doing exactly what they were doing for 7 years. It wasn't until that summer
And nobody
when
knew who the fuck
shit
they
hit
were.
the fan.
And nobody knew who the fuck they were.
That-
But even if 20
Because they weren't on the news, because nothing happened for them to be on the news.
Well, that's why
they were an
that's
organization.
So
hold
when,
on.
when they were
wait,
on the news,
Wait. Listen, and maybe this is where it gets really funky. If you look at George Soros's money and how his money was spent, 2018, that's when it starts to dip.
Right, but that money you're talking billion. Remember, billions is a lot of money. You need to account for billions of dollars, and bricks do not cost billions of
It's
dollars.
more than bricks, Anthony.
What else
It's
is
getting
there?
these people out of jail. Do you know how many people, as far as
Still
were
not on the
bailed out
billions.
Exactly.
literally bailed out by your now vice president.
Still not billions of dollars,
Oh,
though.
Jesus Christ.
well, Anthony, when you
Still
have
not
hundreds,
billions of dollars.
You're never
hundreds
gonna
and
get through
hundreds
to
of
these
people
people.
I'm
arrested.
understanding what you're saying. I'm not saying that you're incorrect. What I'm
It-
saying,
it
though,
could-
is not
okay.
taking billions
Okay, I
from one source.
I understand that, but you could sit there and kind of see the point there.
I understand what your point is, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm not saying the
What I'm-
entire thing is from George Soros, because obviously there's more backers than that.
Right, but you're talking $20 billion from
All right,
one source is
George-
an incredible amount.
The reason why
I understand
BLM
that.
ran under the radar for as long as they did, because first of all, they were backed by George Soros and the then president, the right wing or left wing president at the time. Okay, who happened to be a black man.
And there weren't any
Okay.
riots either during
because
that time.
because nobody snuffed out a black guy. That's why. All right.
Are you kidding me? From 2013 to 2020, the number has gone
Not
up.
in
Here.
not in the
Okay,
context
okay.
of George Floyd.
Guys, look, we're at 45 minutes for
Come
the segment.
on.
This is a little long for a fucking middle segment. Let's again, we're
mean-
not debating here. It's about George Soros, not about Black Lives Matter. It's not about any of that. Okay.
Makes a good point. Let's agree to disagree and move on. It's getting late.
That
All right.
blow me.
Okay.
I got to show you something after the podcast is over.
Okay. So we're gonna take a short little break. I know this has been a little long segment. I apologize for that. But as you can see, West is sleeping.
Yes.
Roadblock has been like he said something at the beginning of this segment and then was like, "Be quiet" the
Everyone
entire
loves
time.
pussy. I mean, he's not wrong.
So it's like let's I will catch you guys and to end this episode, and it'll be a short fucking ending. I promise. We will be right back. Hey everybody, I'm JC3,
And I'm Mr. West.
and this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash.
No jitters.
Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to w.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites. is
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
Who wants better sex? And who wants better sex starting now? The best way to get started is go to adamandeve.com.
Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just any item.
But that's not all. When you select your one item, you will also get 3 bonus items. That includes a gift for him, a special gift for her, and a gift you'll both like.
Plus 6 free movies for your viewing pleasure and free shipping.
There is discreet shipping as your privacy is priority. Plus 100% free shipping on your entire order.
Doesn't matter how much you spend or what you buy, it will all be packaged and sent discreetly for free.
Don't wait. Better sex is just one click away.
That's 50% off one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping.
Bring more pleasure and satisfaction to your bedroom.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire.
Just enter code QUESTION at checkout.
That's question,
QUESTION at adamandeve.com.
This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast only. So be sure at checkout you punch in the code QUESTION. That is QUESTION at checkout. And get your 50% off one item, 10 free gifts, and free shipping. Remember, use code QUESTION. Also remember to listen to Is This Real every Sunday at 8 o'clock with new episodes starting July 16th. Remember, everybody, question everything and put that question at the end of your checkout.
At adamandeve.com.
And welcome back from this episode from hell.
If you need help, go to betterhelp.com/question. Sign up today. Save some money.
Yeah, we didn't do that in the middle thing.
We did that with our first sponsor,
Yeah,
Adam
we
and
did.
Eve.
Yeah, but
We didn't have a chat out this fucking air. I mean, we really need to. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I went right into Anthony versus Joe debate 20. Okay.
BetterHelp.com. When you need help in your professional life, romantic life, family life, head on over to BetterHelp.com.
From listening to this podcast.
BetterHelp.com/question. You'll take a questionnaire and they'll hook you up with a therapist or a counselor that's right for you, that can get you the best help.
You know what? I think we should kick this puppy in the head and just have our own podcast, you and me. I think that if they don't want us to debate, they'd rather just sit here and go.
It's not a debate episode.
George is ugly Joe.
It's not.
No!
Your podcast wouldn't go anywhere because you two would just keep fucking arguing.
Joey, even I'm going to
don't even take breaks arguing. You don't even breathe while you're fucking arguing. That's not a debate. What the fuck are you going to do? Sit there and call each other old and fat ass for 45 minutes?
I don't think we
He's
didn't.
dickless. Get it right.
We didn't insult each other until just now. Not once did I mention anything disparaging against you.
But that's where it's going to go.
Can't we all
Come
agree
on.
we all like wet pussy? I mean, enough is enough. You know?
Pussy is the great, what do you call that? Not the great divider.
The great unifier.
The great unifier, yes.
I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
Oh, blow yourself!
I told you it would catch on. Anyway, what were you saying, Joe?
Is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre outside?
Somebody trying to come in?
No, there
Holy
was some
shit.
dickhead running up the street on his motorcycle.
Oh my god.
It's like the government trying to get through the door. Like
I knew it. I said fuck
Sneeze
Clinton.
and go right through it.
No, you don't have to worry until you hear FBI, open up!
No, Anthony has to worry before hearing
I
that.
don't know what you're talking about.
You
Start
know what I'm
broadcasting in
talking
German real quick. That's think of that night.
about. Anywho,
Hans?
like I was trying to fucking say, another sponsor for our podcast.
I managed the Dairy Queen at this time.
Shut the fuck up!
Come on, let's go.
Oh, blow me. Another sponsor
my
for our
tweezers.
podcast is Dubby.
Yes.
Go to
yeah.
w.gg, punch in the code Is This Real PC, all one word, to get you 10% off all your Dubby products.
Mr. West did not drink his W today.
He did not. No, you are not a good sponsor person, Wes.
Perfect.
Okay, they can't hear you. There you go. Okay, you just broke it. Yeah, he broke my fucking mic. And he just leaves it hanging.
Please use the sponsor. We need to fix this microphone.
You're a piece of shit, Anthony. You
Let's
know
see
that?
what his dick has to say.
Anywho.
Well, come on, let's go.
Okay, so we're going to end this episode here. Let's just put it like this.
Yay.
This episode, as much as I
Yes.
wanted to get it out, it completely and utterly was derailed through and through.
At least for entertaining.
Art thou surprised?
Okay, what
This shit was bombed. Like back
I don't
in
even know what the
World War
fuck
II.
to ask. Like, do
Final
you sit there and believe all conspiracy theories about George Soros? Is that the question for the episode? Like, what do I...
Who you asking? Come on, let's go.
You fucking forehead.
All right, look, you know what? You really want to call names? I mean, come on.
Answer the question. We're running out of time.
All right, fucking Dumbotron. Now, walking batter's eye. Now, do I believe that a lot of stuff that was going on? Yeah, it's there. It's fact. It's proven. He donates to this one. He donates to all Democratic causes. Everything there is in black and white. Now, if you're a member, if you like the Democratic Party or you're a left wing, you might not find that to be a problem. But if you live in a city where these people that he backed are now running it, That is really a problem. So, and that's why like cities like Los Angeles and stuff have lost so many millions of people that are leaving. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm looking at myself.
Why?
My hair is really good tonight.
This motherfucker's whole thought was just derailed because Joey's being vain.
I mean, Jesus Christ. You look like Chompy Bear.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot. You're that age that you forget things.
I'm
Continue.
I'll just go around. You know what? The people that are in those cities are moving. Choking on a sandwich?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my thought. You know what? Fuck you. I'm done for tonight. And good evening, all everyone out there in the podcast.
Okay. Pope Tony.
I think some of the conspiracies that are against George Soros are absolute nonsense and full of shit. And then people who are screaming that he's actually a secret Nazi and he's done this. It's like, no, a little bit of research can show you that that part of him, he's not the monster you think he is. At the same time, he backs his money where he puts his political beliefs. And that's what every person who has money to spend does. That's not new. It's not it's weird. The only thing that makes him so notorious is the fact that he donated money to groups like BLM. And BLM has been on the news for a variety of things. And when there's a big, like Dad and I were debating over BLM. So you're going to debate BLM, you're going to debate where the money comes from as well. Or you're going to figure where that, and that becomes where he's the boogeyman in the closet. So I think it's one of those.
Safe to say none of them were like cake sales and stuff like that.
So I think it's one of those things where he's not what all the conspiracy theories, especially from the right wing, make him out to be. And at the same time, there is, I would say, a bit of the controversy with his money and the groups that he supports and how they spend that money and so on and so forth. That's about all I know of fucking George Soros. I learned more tonight than I have on doing research. I'll say that.
Thank you. West.
Yes.
I don't know if that was the answer to the question or you're just answering me.
Yes.
Okay. Roadblock.
I'm not sure what the fucking question is.
What do you think of the George Soros?
Yeah,
is he the monster that everyone makes him out to be or whatever?
Well, I'll be completely honest. I don't know much about this guy, so I can't really comment on any of these conspiracy theories. You hear these things and you're like, well, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? You got people saying he's technically a good guy because he's donating to causes. And you got the people saying he's a bad guy because he was donating to the causes that causes that have big issues and possible riots, all that type of stuff. I can't really comment on whether he's good or bad. I can't comment on whether I believe anything that I've heard from him. I think the only thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to leave something with the listeners and do your homework like we always say. I found a little snippet that has caught my eye and I've kind of been stuck on it because I want to actually do research on it. There is something in 1992. Soros shorted the British pound and reportedly made a profit of $1 billion. He became known as the man who broke the Bank of England. That's all I see. And that's for me, that's a headline. It's like, I mean, yeah, sure, you can sit there and say, well, it's the past. It's something that happened.
All hail the queen.
Oh, God, and there we go.
When you're dealing with as much money as you're talking about with George Soros, he can break many banks. Just
Yeah.
doing what he wants to do.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm just going to tell listeners, look into that, and then you can judge for yourself.
Oh, good heavens!
Okay.
The pound! It's not worth as much!
Can I please get to my point?
How will we afford crumpets? Go on.
I'm going to ruin this entire thing right now. Fuck this man, all right? And all what he fucking stands for.
Okay.
That I end that.
Not mincing words, is he?
Nope.
I mean, all right.
All right.
Another George Soros fan.
No, I'm not at all.
I guess so.
All right.
Well,
Ladies,
it was a nice.
the only thing I proved tonight, I actually proved Anthony wrong that they were Jew, German.
All right, we're
sympathizers.
ending the podcast
Yes.
now.
I
Okay.
just got to ask, what's with your heart on in him? Like, seriously.
Well, because I don't like people who sit there and think they're better than anybody else. And this man, his entire life, has always thought that he has the moral high ground. Even though you don't believe in morals. I know you don't believe in morals, Anthony.
Why are you bringing me into this? I
Because
didn't talk to Georgie about what we think.
But
He's the Pope, though.
I don't care. He doesn't believe in morals. Ask him. If you listen and you watch how he sits there and he talks, and he always thinks he has the moral high ground and the moral this. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No one cares about your moral high
Money
ground.
will do to you.
No one cares about your good. You sit there and you feel like, oh, this group is gonna get social justice. Blah blah blah. No one fucking cares. All right.
I think what Joey's saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to cut you off, but it just strikes me as this: when you see someone standing there and they're arguing on behalf of someone else, that can get irritating. It's like, why don't you let that person fight their fight?
Well, it's like Karens. It's like
exactly
it's like white
right.
Karens who are sit there, and I just turn around and sit there and go, why did you have to do that to the black person? I'm like, I didn't do anything to the black person. Shut the fuck up.
There's a very good Burt Kreischer joke where he kept going into a Starbucks and there was a black kid who was taking his order, and he goes, "How do you like your coffee?" He's like, "I like it dark." Or he goes, "I like it like it has no voting rights." So he would make a joke because he wants a black coffee, and the kid would laugh every single time. It became a daily thing.
Yeah, I remember
no harm,
that
no
one.
foul. But
I
then
remember
one day
that.
he said it, and there was a woman behind him who was like, "How dare you say that?" Then they looked at the kid like he's an idiot. Like, don't you understand that he just insulted you? You're championing someone else's pain, and under the right circumstances, that's a good thing. But under the wrong circumstances, it's fucking terrible. And I think that's what Joey's saying is like he's come from a place of money, and he's championing all these causes on someone else's behalf.
And another thing I just don't like is when you turn around, and I completely understand that he grew up in Nazi era and he grew up in the Holocaust survivor and stuff like that. I get that. But sometimes you can't just use it as a crutch all the time.
No one's using that as a crutch.
When you turn around every literal thing, why do people need to know that he's a Holocaust survivor in everything that's written about him?
Because that's
even in business.
Okay, because something like being a Holocaust survivor is something important to it's a note. It is something that this person experienced and they went through. That's something for all survivors of something tragic and horrible. So they did the same thing for people who survived the Titanic, same thing for people who got out of the buildings before they fell on 9/11. That is a horrific thing, and it is part of that person's history that is part of who they are. It's not saying that they're better because they survived the Holocaust.
I've never read someone to name like if they're famous because they
They're
survived.
not famous because
no,
of that. It's just part of their history.
No, listen. Like I've never turned around and I saw somebody who's a billionaire like he is, turn around and they were part of 9/11. They're a 9/11 survivor. I never read that.
This is a classic. Hold on, I just want to cut to a couple of weeks ago. We all know Tim Scott, the congressman or senator, I believe, from I think it's South Carolina, is running for president. Black man, very smart, very educated. He was talking about racial equality in his version. I'm not going to go into what it was. Now, this is a black man from the South. I would think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to what went on in the South and racism that he's experienced as a black man. But simply because he went to college and he is a black man and he's well educated, they find the need to break this man down. And it comes down again to those fucking pigs on The View. Sorry to tell you, and if that's bad to say, too fucking bad.
I don't think that's bad to say.
When the one bitch turned around and she said,
That's bad to say.
Okay. All right, you can bleep it all the fuck out who you want. Okay, when the one host turned around and said, he's black and he's educated, he doesn't know anything about racism. He doesn't know what he's talking about racism.
That's a stupid thing to say.
You're a white woman. Shut your fucking mouth. Don't want to hear what you got to say.
That's my point.
That's exactly your point. And it pisses me off when they do that. And George Soros does it with money behind him.
And that's my biggest problem.
But he's also like he's like, listen, I came from a place where my people were targeted, or I survived this era of history where these people were targeted and exterminated, and I am related to that. I'm part of that group. And now, hold on a second. Now it here is 77 years later, and I'm seeing another group in this country being marginalized. The things that happened in Nazi Germany, I'm seeing happening in 2020, whatever, and that is not a good thing. So he puts his money in places where he thinks it's going to stop and mitigate that.
I would completely and utterly be completely fine with all of that. If, again, I don't know if this is something we can track. Was he doing it back in the civil rights?
I'd have to look that up.
If he wasn't,
When did
and
he
he's
make
just
his
doing it
first?
now,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
What gets me too is, I mean, there are
I
so many
agree
Jewish
with that.
people.
I don't
There's
know.
so many Jewish people that are still surviving from the Holocaust.
Sure.
Families of Jews. I mean, I'm going to say Jews because
That's what they are. You're
okay.
using it right this time.
Okay.
Again, it's Jew, not Jew.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
difference.
It's so great comics that it's the only word. It's the only thing that just it's a racial term at the same time. It's not. It's like, oh, there's that Jewish family
Well,
over there.
be
There's
that
that
as it
family
may.
of Jews.
They're suffering. They're dying. They have nothing. They're dying in little mud huts everywhere. Every day, people are dying simply because of what went on in World War II and with the Nazi Party. These people that you can label them heroes all you want, but they suffered needlessly.
Sure.
They didn't have to die for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Okay. But today, he wants to give it to BLM, or he wants to give it to this, he wants to give it to that. That's fine, but you know what? Give it to the people who really fucking need it first. The people that suffered and are still suffering need the help. They're dying. They need the fucking help. Get off your head. You want to go around claiming you're a Jew from, whatever, from the Nazis or whatever. You suffered. Then you know what they went through. Then you take your money and give it to those people. All right? Stop trying to influence everybody else to do your fucking bidding on fucking hurting other people, because that's exactly what he does, all right? And this is purely my opinion. I think that in this country, if we start fucking putting our money where our mouth is instead of talking about it, just like George Carlin, I know you'll know what I'm talking about. This country declares a war on everything. No one does anything about it. We just declare war on it, all right? And when this guy declares war, what he's doing is there's more problems than he's ever going to solve. So having said that, my night is over. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. That was,
I was going to disagree with you and start a
thank
fight,
me.
but I'm just going to leave it at that.
and
Like
it
it's
was
10 o'clock.
my turn. But all right, cool. All right. So we're going to end this episode. Next
to
week's
it.
episode,
There's more to it, but okay.
next week's episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we're going back to debates. What fucking fun!
Next week's episode is our third debate of this season. Our official debate, not just you two talking to each other.
Sponsored by every heart medication out there.
We are talking.
You know what? Next week, I'm not going to say a word. You sit over here and I'll sit over here. Let them
Speak into the mic!
and let them debate. Cricket, 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 cricket. Okay.
What's the debate for next week?
If Joe Biden is compromised.
Ah, fuck me! Hold on. We have a winner. Ding, ding, ding.
What do you say, Trumpy?
Fuck the bear. I can't debate that shit. He's a fucking... Oh, God damn it. Of course, the bear can't fucking speak. Oh, he's a great president. He's so eloquent.
You know what I got to say? What, Trumpy? Biden's an
I wasn't
asshole.
expecting that.
Anyway, hey, I just want to say goodnight, everybody.
And Wes is pissed off because you woke him up.
Good night, everybody.
Mean side eye. All right, Anthony, go please tell
Trump
everybody.
said stupid shit, but Biden can't speak at all.
And apparently can't stand. Anthony, please
Hold
go.
on.
He fell upwards in the plane. He fell up the
And
stairs.
Trump had problems with ramps. They're both guilty.
Oh, it was wet that day.
Anthony,
Come on, I don't arrange that
Anthony,
shit.
Pope Tony, please give everybody our social media links.
Head on over to tiktok.com/isthisrealpc. Why am I looking at the fucking light? You can't. The camera's there. Hi. TikTok. You can find us on TikTok at isthisrealpc. You can also find us at Pope Tony the First. That's my personal one. Joey's is JC3_ITR. We're live on those accounts pretty much every single night. Mr. West is also here. He's
Random
on
West
TikTok.
vids.
Random West vids. Big Joe has one. He's usually wrong in his TikTok. Josh doesn't have any. TikTok is the place to find us. We're also on Facebook.
It's not
and on
TikTok
Twitter.
anymore. Oh, yeah, TikTok. Sorry.
We're also on Twitter.
Oh,
I'm
X.
sorry, X. We're also on Facebook. I guess you X'd it out. I don't know.
All right, so
Fuck knows.
yeah, on Twitter we are. What is our?
You had to rub out a tweet? That's a great one.
Is this real PC? At Is This Real PC? We have 12 followers.
Please head over to fucking YouTube. We're trying to build the YouTube up. That's our
Green Hour Media.
Green Arrow Media on YouTube. There's another Green Arrow Media. I'm not throwing any shade at them, but they're like, we're the ones who are doing this stuff.
They're good at what they do too. You know, I mean,
Yeah, they do whatever they're doing.
Racing videos.
Yeah,
racing videos. Good
yeah.
for them. But like we're doing the conspiracy videos. So you go to YouTube. We're one of 2 accounts. But if you Google Green Arrow Media,
Look for the logo.
yeah, look for the logo. You're going to find us. We're like the 2nd and 3rd spot right now on Google. Head on over to greenarrowmedia.org. That's our website where all the links to our socials are there. And there you go.
Yeah. And again, we're halfway through this season.
Did we get approved for the thing in September? Like we're
I
definitely there.
haven't gotten email yet, but we did send the money out.
Okay, so we're right now we're planning on something that's gonna be really cool. We're gonna venture out into the world a little bit. Maybe you guys can want to come see us and hang out with us, take pictures, whatever. Buy some merch. We're gonna be probably gonna be doing something really cool in September, but it's also the opening day of football, so we'll see.
But again, please go to all of our social media links that you heard Pope Tony say. Again, next week is the Biden episode. You don't want to miss that. Last week was the Trump episode. Go, and I think it debuts tonight. It is live right now.
Oh dear God!
The Trump episode is live right now.
No, we're 2 weeks ahead.
We're 2 weeks ahead?
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, False Flags. You're right.
False Flags comes out tonight.
It comes out tonight. My apology. False
So-
Flags was a good episode also.
That was a good episode. So
Right.
so hold on to your hats. Wait a couple more days. Don't worry. The Trump debate is on the way.
Yes, the Trump debate is on the way. Please go listen to them. Go follow. Even go listen to our Buzzsprout page. You have all of our links to our sponsors on our Buzzsprout page
Yep.
and all of that. And you get to hear and read what they put the transcripts out and everything that has chapters in it too.
And if you're interested, on our website, we have the archives full of old podcasts that you could check out. Angry Uncle, Triple M, and Keeping It Real with Bubba.
All
So
told, though, think about it. How many podcast episodes you think between all the podcasts?
yeah,
Right now, over 200?
over
Oh, yeah,
200.
over
I would say
200.
close to 275, almost 300 episodes,
Wow.
considering the 4 podcasts that we have done, 3 of which are archived now.
All right. We'll catch everybody next week. Again, thank you for joining with us tonight. And, buckle up for next week.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Everybody say goodnight.
Good night, everybody.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Good night, everybody.
That was from West. And we'll catch you guys next week.
I think
Remember,
it's like
everybody.
Sleeping Beauty. He needs a prince to kiss him awake.
Remember, everybody. Remember, everybody. Question everything. Good night, guys.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.